It's day 2 of the LaFontaine-Baldwin Symposium, and just over my shoulder you'll see about 100 people talking about the themes that were raised in His Highness the Aga Khan's speech last night. So we're talking about pluralism, we're talking about active citizenship, we're talking about what it means to be Canadian. And we're asking people to bring their own perspective to what they heard, to share it in amongst their table mates. And then at the end of this, we're going to have the tables report back and share what they have been sharing.
Tonight, we are welcoming one of the great leaders for diversity in the world, the kind of thing that Canada stands for as a country. The Aga Khan really understands in a worldwide sense. He is the spiritual leader of approximately 14 million Ismailis. In his own being, he encompasses the world. He was born in Geneva, spent his childhood in Nairobi, attended Le Rosey School in Switzerland, and graduated from Harvard University in the United States in 1959. When he was 20 and still a student at Harvard, he succeeded as the hereditary imam. I was at university here in Canada at exactly the same time when His Highness became Aga Khan. And I remember vividly how I thought he must have felt, knowing that suddenly he had this enormous responsibility at our age. The Aga Khan seeks to create bridges between the developed and the developing world. This is done with a very conscious sense of the dignity of all human beings. With the Aga Khan and what he represents, we are a better country. Your Highness.
The challenge of pluralism is as old as human civilization. Amy Chua of the Yale Law School recently published a persuasive warning about the decline and fall of history's dominant empires. Their downward spiral, she says, stemmed from their embrace of intolerant and exclusionist attitudes. She cites 7 examples, from ancient Persia to the modern United States, from ancient Rome and the Tang Empire in China to the Spanish, Dutch, and British empires. In each case, pluralism was a critical variable. This brings me to the story of Canada, shaped by 2 European cultures. This dual inheritance was an apparent weakness at one point, but it was transformed into an enormous strength, thanks to leaders like LaFontaine and Baldwin.
We started this 10 years ago for a very good reason, which there was very little understanding in Canada of why we do the things right that we do right. Nobody could really say, you know, where does pluralism come from? Where does our attitude towards immigration come from? Why do we not believe in violence, using violence, the state using violence the way it does in most other Western countries? There are several roots of it. One is Aboriginal, but the other root of it is the Great Reform Movement, middle of the 19th century. Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine, Robert Baldwin, the Great Ministry, come to power after an incredible struggle. They last 3 years. They put through hundreds of bills, and all of those bills are the foundation of modern Canada.
Together, Robert Baldwin and Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine would forge the basis of responsible government in Canada.
We'll have a few opening remarks from various people who will try to tease out from last night just some thoughts about what they thought were key elements in the Aga Khan speech.
I believe that the challenge of pluralism is never completely met. Pluralism is a process and not a product. It is a mentality, a way of looking at a diverse and changing world.
I like the idea of diversity or pluralism as a process, not a product. A very important phrase, I thought, a process, not a product.
It has never been easy for people to live together. I am not one who believes in some natural human disposition to welcome the stranger.
People are not naturally inclined to be inclusive.
The way we communicate with one another has been revolutionized. But more communication has not meant more cooperation. A wide open internet allows divisive information to travel as far and as fast as reliable information.
The amount of information or misinformation that exists on the internet.
When we talk about diversity, we often use the metaphor of achieving social harmony. But perhaps we might also employ an additional musical comparison, a fitting image, as we meet tonight in this distinguished musical setting. We might talk not just about the ideal of harmony, the sounding of a single chord, but also about counterpoint. In counterpoint, each voice follows a separate musical line, but always as part of a single work of art, with a sense both of independence and belonging.
The issue is not whether differences are engaged, but rather what differences are being engaged in society. We should strive not only for the acceptance and tolerance of diversity, but rather strive for the celebration of diversity.
We are at a particularly complex moment in human history. The challenges of diversity are frightening for many people in societies all around the world, but diversity also has the capacity to inspire. As we think about pluralism, we should be open to the fact that there may be a variety of best practices, a diversity of diversities, and a pluralism of pluralisms. The world we seek is not a world where difference is erased, but where difference can be a powerful force for good, helping us to fashion a new sense of cooperation and coherence in our world, and to build together a better life for all. Thank you very much.
You sit down at these round tables and dozens of ideas come out. Big ideas, small ideas. We gather them all up. We look at them, we start thinking about them. What can we do with these ideas? How can we push these ideas forward? How can we make them part of what we do and part of the national consciousness?